He's vanished. We talked about this the other night. Do you know how hard it is to vanish like that? How hard it is? If I go to get milk down the street, half my family knows about it because I find my friends. People know where people go because of this, because of the device in our pocket, because of how technology has advanced. But Brian has vanished. I don't know how he did it. A magician would have an easier time making a hat, a white rabbit disappear into a top hat. I mean, I'm just thinking of ways here to describe to you how crazy it is that the person of interest in this case vanished in this way. And that's not a slight on law. People have said, JB, you're being critical of law enforcement. No, it's not. I'm not being critical of law enforcement. I'm not being critical of anyone. What I'm saying by saying that is, when the entire world has seen Brian Laundrie's face and know about this story here in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, when the world is looking out for him, everyone's got cameras on their phones in their pockets. People have dash cam video attached to their cars. We have surveillance cameras, Ring doorbells. Just to poof, vanish is really hard in 2021. Extremely hard. So he did it. He's gone. Attorney doesn't know where he is. Family that says they don't know where he is. And the chances of him coming forward now after everything that he had to go through to be put off the grid, the chances of him coming forward, Charlie, are really slim. And that's me being frank with you. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that tonight he comes back from hiking, he puts his hands up in the air, and he says, I'm ready to talk. I don't want any trouble. I just want to talk. I hope that happens. But again, there's so much that we don't know with this story, and there's so much that police don't know with this story, and they don't have enough right now to charge him with a crime. So he is still a missing person. And at this time, he has the right to go wherever he wants to go. Let's get to some of the other comments that have come in here in the last several minutes. Right on cue. Eric Shelley Morrison, #HeyJB. How was he able to leave his house without drawing the attention of the media I saw outside of his home? Well, probably because he wasn't there. Family members in the area, in the Tampa Bay area, he could have been staying in several different places. Thursday's press conference is key. Chief Todd Garrison says, pertaining to Brian Laundrie, says, we know where Brian is. We know where Brian is. We know where Brian is. But they didn't say where it was. They didn't say, we know Brian's at his house. We know he's at his house. We know he's at his house. They didn't say that. They said they know where he is. And everyone just assumed they thought he was home. But he could have, there's several different places that he could have been. And he vanished. Now, not to say that he wasn't in the house. He could have been in the house, and he could have, under the cover of darkness, disappeared out of his backyard and climbed fences and disappeared some way. But again, it's just so hard to vanish these days. That's to Eric and Shelley Morrison's point here. The media was stationed outside the house. So if he did, that's a whole nother crazy thought behind the story. If he managed to leave that house and not be detected, that's sheer insanity. Let's get to a couple of others here. Let's see here. Oh, let's just put this out. Put this to bed. Rachel. I'm not going to mispronounce your last name, Rachel. I'm just going to say Rachel. Rachel, #HJB. Do you think it's possible at all that the two females murdered in Moab have anything to do with this? Grand County Sheriff's Office, the department there, they confirmed that they're not related. They have, we've been talking about evidence, they have something that leads them to conclude that the two cases are separate. That's what we know. Sarah Clark, #HJB. What state was she found in? I thought the last known location was Tetons. Yeah, it was. So this you don't want to say adds up. Doesn't feel right for me to say it that way because there's so much unknown still and a lot of different variables to the equation that are completely invisible to us. But yeah, our last known location was the Tetons. Wow, I can't even clear my throat. Excuse me. It's been a long week of streaming. Apologies for the hoarse voice. She was found in the Tetons and Grand Teton National Park. She was found in northwest Wyoming. So it all, again, I don't even want to say fits. It's not that it fits. Nothing about this fits. It doesn't fit, right? But it makes sense. I think feels better for me to say it that way. Alexis, our digital content producer, just passed me a cough drop, and she's way too kind. I think it's worse to hear a cough drop swirling around rather than again, apologies. My profound apologies for the hoarse voice. It's not because I'm sick or because of anything else related to being sick in 2021. It is because I've been on stream many hours. We don't take breaks here. Have you seen a commercial break yet? This is the internet. We're not doing commercial breaks, at least at this stage of where we are with WFLA now. We're not doing any commercial breaks. It's nonstop. We're talking with you here, and talking for many hours, many days in a row leads to a little bit of a hoarse voice. So Alexis, thank you. But I'm not going to do that to our viewers. That'll just drive people crazy. Jennifer McManus, #AJB. Are they charging the parents of Brian for obstruction of justice? No, absolutely not. People, folks, let's go back and review this. Brian isn't charged with a crime. There's zero evidence that Brian had anything to do with this. We have to stay rooted in reality here and tell you about what's actually happening versus what's being theorized to be happening. And the theories are out there, and the general belief is out there that Brian Laundrie did something very bad to Gabby Petito, and Gabby's no longer with us. But we don't have that. There's no evidence that points to that conclusion at this time. Until there is, he is a person of interest and a missing person in a missing persons case. So that's where we are. If that changes, guess what? We'll be here live again to talk to you about where it now progresses now that he is a suspect being ready to be charged with a crime based on, of course, him being arrested. Let's see here. We took Charlie's comment here. Steve Young, #AJB. Oh, wow. Steve here. Likely not the quarterback. Steve Young, #AJB. Please send Gabby's family my thoughts and prayers from here in the UK. And it would be very odd if Steve Young, the legendary football player, was in the UK on Football Sunday. So that's why I say that. But but I highlight this comment here, and I'm glad this comment is in our queue because goes to show it's an international story. People are following this around the world. Hey, Steve, thanks for finding us from across the pond. We really appreciate it, and thanks for watching there in the UK. And hey, give us a shout out. Where are you guys watching from? We got a lot of people watching in a lot of different places because we're live in 100 or so different places simultaneously here. But if you're watching from outside the United States, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from here, folks. Cindy Ippolito, #KJB. Good question. What's the usual turnaround time on cause of death? It's a great question because people, this is what I'm talking about as far as people getting antsy and wanting answers from being antsy. Usual turnaround time on cause of death can vary greatly, but there is a process now that I can kind of share a little bit with you. First and foremost, a preliminary cause of death is concerned. What is going on, likely now or soon, is the body is being examined by Teton County, Wyoming, coroner Brent Blue, the examiner's office there in northwest Wyoming. And at first, they can release a preliminary report. Now, when does the preliminary report come out? That can vary so much on the resources at their disposal. Some medical examiners' offices, some coroners' offices, as far as their procedures, sometimes they'll have to outsource certain efforts. Sometimes additional resources will be brought in to assist. And it varies so different from agency to agency and from state to state. So there's so much that we don't know about the process, but the process is so important because of, as what I mentioned earlier, everything has to be done right here. Everything's got to be done by the book. If they find something near the scene or something about Gabby's remains that leads them to believe that Brian Laundrie is now officially a suspect, they better be sure. And I say that because you don't want the process foiled down the road legally. You want everything done right. No shortcuts, no rushes as far as rush jobs to get things done. Take your time, get it right. That's what's most important. Get it right. So back to Cindy's question, usual turnaround time on a cause of death. Hey, listen, we're live for 100,000 people across all of our platforms right now. Retired medical examiner in there somewhere. Comment, tell us. I've never been to Northwest Wyoming. Confession, never been to that area of the country. I've never been, how many of our commenters have ever been to the Northwest Wyoming, to the Grand Teton, Wyoming medical examiner's office, or worked there, or knows how that process works? We'll find out. The reporting will come out, and we'll find out more about the process and the estimated timeline for determining what the preliminary cause of death is. But it can vary from remains to remains, and because some cases are more complicated than others. Some cases are blatantly obvious. And not to be grim here, and just to speak in generalities for a moment and not pertaining to Gabby, but if somebody has a gunshot wound to their head, you see what I'm getting at. But we have no information on the cause of death at this time. We don't know if it's obvious or non-obvious. We don't know, and we don't know because we don't know how long it'll take for us to determine more about what happened to Gabby in her final moments and in her final hours. Cindy, thanks for the comment. These are the conversations that we need to be having right now as far as getting justice for Gabby. But I want to encourage a lot of our commenters to please send prayers for Gabby and for the Petito family. Thinking about them tonight and thinking about the suffering that they're currently experiencing. It's been an emotional night for us. It's been an emotional night for law enforcement there in Northwest Wyoming, as you saw in the press conference, but no one is going through hell on earth more right now than the Petito family. And when we're thinking of them, I'm thinking of them. And I could speak for our commenters, like just a moment ago here in the comment section, Elizabeth Beatty, ready, #HJB, we are praying for Gabby's family. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. Thanks, Elizabeth, and I appreciate a lot of the comments that are coming in. We'll get to some more of the comments coming in here.